season, your Aces sit down to discuss basketball, life, and the pursuit of greatness. We begin with the 2022 Coach of the Year and the two-time MVP.
So I guess my biggest thing when I took this job was to get to know the players. Yeah. You being on the list first, asked you to come down to San Antonio, hang out a little bit, go to dinner, work out. I know what I was trying to get out of that, but what kind of were you expecting, or what had you really kind of heard about me? Because I'd have watched you a ton, but I didn't really know you. Right. So I was excited to spend the time.
Yeah, I was excited and nervous because, I mean, like, you're a legend, duh. And my first time meeting you obviously was a jersey retirement, and I instantly loved the vibe. You brought in great vibes, and I love that. So when you invited me to San Antonio, I was like, oh my God, I'm super nervous because, like, I don't know where this could go. But I know I was appreciative because you laid it out all on the line. And like, obviously now that I really know you, in a sense, it's kind of like I 100% love that because I knew exactly what you wanted for us. And then that way I can then relay it to my teammates. Like that way I can be that, what you need in the locker room. But I was super nervous, especially for that workout. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to airball everything. Like,
but you didn't at all. Because I walked out of there, I was like, oh my God, you can really shoot. Like, you can really shoot. Why don't you shoot? And she was like, nah, it wasn't our thing.
It wasn't our system.
I was like, it's about to be the thing.
But it was just like, I had a ton of fun, and I think we all appreciated that moment that you took out to, like, you know, meet with us individually and get to know us, because I think that's a huge piece of how we won, because we knew exactly what you wanted out of us, and it was reciprocated through and through. So I had a good time, even though I was super nervous. But no, I had a lot of fun.
So I'll tell something about that. So I remember with Pop, he would always talk about, like, with Tim Duncan, and I look at you guys very similarly in the sense of the conversations that he said he had with him. I took a couple pages out of his book, had the same conversations with you. And I think one thing that I didn't know you as a leader, but then as I saw you, but one of the very first things I told you, I was like, you have to let me coach you, and coach you hard, and coach you in front of your teammates, which is probably the hardest pill to swallow, because it's in a sense, it's putting you on blast in some ways, right? But I always want to make sure I'm telling you when you're doing it right, and then correct you when you're doing it wrong. But I'll just say I appreciate you letting me do that, because it set the tone for everybody else. Because it's like, damn, if she's going to tap to Asia and correct Asia, where the rest of us come into line, it's like, well, you come in right where you come in, right in line, and everybody gets held to the same accountability. And I think that's huge coming from a leader. And I don't know if that's something you learned or you've just always been like that, but who was like somebody that you're like, I want to be a leader like that?
I mean, I feel like it's just something that I was born with. But for me, I like to kind of do things at my own pace. And I feel like Bill kind of like really wanted me to get it like my first year. And I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, why do you want me to be a leader to bits? Like, I can't do that. But I think kind of when you came along, it was just like, no, now it's time, because it was clean, it was cut, and I knew exactly what I needed to do, and I can appreciate you coaching me, because that was how I was in college. Like, I don't like the hand me, like, do this, baby. I don't like that. Like, treat me like the 12th man. Like, I do not care, because that's how we all get better. So yeah, I think I kind of just formed into it because you allowed me to do it at my own pace, because I feel like my parents could even tell you, like, if you tell Asia, she's gonna be like, nah, I wanna do it at my own pace. Like, I'm gonna get to it, but I'm gonna do it. But I think you allow me to kind of figure it out and then go with the flow.
Yeah, I would say that's very accurate. Because, I mean, I tell people this all the time, like, the leadership that you have, are Chelsea, Kelsey, Jackie, on down the line, like, when your leaders work and say are on time, it's like, you guys have nipped so many things in the bud before I even have to say it, which is such a luxury for me. I love that. Thank you for doing part of my job. But with holding people accountable. But again, that the model of team above self from the top, bottom, and kind of rebuilding the Aces identity from who you guys were before. And I think I was very upfront and honest with you guys about that. But it was really special for me to watch, but it really started from the top person and trickles on down through everybody, of just giving of yourself. That's it. And you exemplify that in your teammates. Like, we got there. Yeah. We got there this last year where, 1 through 12, it was team above self. Yes. And You get to do special things that way.
For me, obviously, just being the first drafted player from the Aces and coming in and not making the playoffs, I was like, what is going on? Like, I had never not had a postseason. Like, I was like, I'm packing my stuff because I always align postseason with my mom's birthday. It's like August 19th. So I'm like, around that time, I'm either getting ready for playoffs or in the last regular season game. And like August 19th, I was like, oh my God, I'm going home. Like, I was on a flight back to South Carolina. And that there, I was like, oh no, this could never happen again. So winning has been definitely something that we have struggled with. But I think once you came along back, like, it was just an eye opener for us. Like, the whole game changed for us. The way that we approached the game was like complete opposite. Like, I've never seen our team look like that ever. I don't even know, you got the Magic potion over there. But no, I think it kind of all worked out. Like, it all lined up at exactly the timing that it needed to be, especially like, I was getting antsy. I was like, nah, I gotta get me one. Like, I was like, I need one. So I think it just kind of lined up perfectly when you came along and like the flow of what we were doing and how we were getting it done.
But sometimes with winning, you can get complacent. You can feel entitled. Yeah. And so for me, my greatest challenge coming in this year is to fight complacency, to fight entitlement, because that's how you lose your title. But how do you see things as we're moving? Obviously, it's very early. But
yeah, I mean, it is super early, but I think it just goes off of what you were saying about the entitlement and not being complacent. Like, I feel like this off season, I had to keep telling myself, like, find your chip on your shoulder. Like, you have to, I mean, I always say, like, no one liked us when we didn't win anything. Now it's like, now they have a real reason to be like, no, we really don't rock with the Aces. Right. And that's what I came into this off season, just when it came to training, like, nah, they hate me. Like, they hate my guts. Like, they don't want anything about it. So I'm gonna try my best to be there. And I feel like if I can be present in that way, it goes down to my teammates. And I think we just gotta make sure that we understand it as everything's not gonna look the same. I think we get so caught up. I don't want us to not be, what were we, 19-2 in the beginning, like 13-2?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want us to not start off like that and be like, oh my God, we're not on the same path. Like, that's my deal, is making sure everyone understands, like, nothing's about to be given to us. It's about to be 10 times harder than how it was last year. And last year wasn't a walk in the park. But I think this year we kind of have that curve because we know each other a little bit more. Obviously, we're adding pieces, but I think that veteranship that we have, it's like, all right, we've established that, and now it's time to get back into the works of flowing together and gelling together.
And I think just the accountability piece, right? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to start over. I can tell you, as your guys' coach, I'm not starting over with people shooting it over to people, or like, we moved the ball and we made the right play. And like I always told you guys last year, I don't want it 6 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times. You guys are good enough, and I know y'all see it. It'd be one thing if y'all didn't see it. I know y'all see it. So, and constantly, you know, I'm constantly asking you guys to put team above self too, right? I also have to do the same. I have to put the team above any individuals. So on any given night, it could be anybody. Yeah. We don't know. But I think that just being on you guys that way, but trying to, again, demand the right way.
Ah, Beck, you had one hell of a year, girl. You had one hell of a year.
You having a hell of a year helped me have a hell of a year. Let's just say that.
You went crazy, literally, like, top tier everything. Please tell me what was going through your mind. It was fun just watching it and being a part of it and being like, yeah. But like, oh my God.
I'm just mad that y'all put my dancing on TV. No more dancing on TV, no more clips, no more nothing. Because I get in there and I start feeling it with them.
See?
But I don't move like them, so you can't do that to me. You can't, that's basically putting me on blast, okay? That's basically putting me on blast. I'm so excited, I'm amped up, and you guys catch me at the worst times on film.
No, but you were lit though, we had your back.
See, just the way you're saying that, I don't believe you. You had our back, but lit? Asia, you think I was lit?
No, I would never forget Commissioner Cup. When we won and you came in that locker room, I was like, yeah. Like, I feel like
I'm too old for that now, you know that.
But it was fire. Like, that summed up your year right there. Like,
no, what summed up my year was a lot of fun, a lot of work, obviously, but it was fun. Yeah. You guys made it fun to come to work every day. Like I can't, and I try to tell you guys periodically, like I appreciate your competitiveness and your hustle and your energy, but it's like, no, really I do. I'm not just saying that like, you know, I'm just not giving you guys credit just to be giving you credit. Like really, I mean it.
I think we really kind of put a lot of teams on the map. Like I think we put a lot of people on the map, and I love that. Even when it comes to just in our league, like the Aces have really laid a foundation down of how you go about things and what you should do. And I'm glad to be on this side of it because I would be hating on the outside for sure. But I think we're on the rise of continuing to grow the game.
No, I mean for me, just watching I always talk about the skill level of you guys, where it's like the skill level keeps getting better and better. The individual, just like the game has grown, like you go back and watch those early NBA games, like centers are dribbling like this, and now you have a guy like Giannis or Jokic where they're handling, passing, I mean, they're doing all sorts of stuff. There's no more limits.
Right.
And it's almost like positionless basketball. I mean, you know, you go to small, nobody says a small can't roll. Right. You know, and I just think kind of just letting people just be who they are, but like opening their minds that like, just because it's always been done this way doesn't mean it has to be this way. And I think our team, you know, last year's Chicago team, last year's Seattle team, ourselves, like there's a reason why people like watching us play, those teams specifically, and it's because we score a lot of points. People like to see that kind of ball movement, that kind of skill set. And so it really turns into a beautiful game to watch.
Yeah, definitely. No one's like trapped in a box anymore. Like, let's be positionless, let's flow and make people watch us play, and that's where the entertainment factor comes in, and that's when it's like, okay, I want to go buy her jersey, I want to go to a game.
Well, I think at the end of the day, you have to understand you're entertainers. You're in the entertainment business.
Exactly.
So put the most entertaining product that you can out on the floor. It's always challenging when somebody's a team, a group of people. Achieving greatness is one thing. Maintaining greatness is another
whole nother thing.
Yes. But once we can get to that standard where we're maintaining greatness, then you start talking like dynasty. Then you start talking legends. And that's really how I see this group come together. And having an ownership group like Mark really invest, really believe, hey, this is a great product. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, build this facility because people want to come here. The only reason why you be hating is because you want it to be you.
Exactly.
So, and you know, we drew great free agents, and that's going to continue to grow because of his investment into us. But also, I think one thing that exuded from this team last year, which also made me really happy, was just how much joy you guys had in playing with each other. I think people felt that, and that is contagious. Yeah. That's contagious.